And to the extent that you are able to speak to these paragraphs, not necessarily read them, I would suggest that would be most effective. Thank you, if you can.
Thank you, Commissioners. As I stated earlier, I was acting as the Chief of Police for that period. And on the 2nd of February, Lieutenant Colonel Kelebogile Tipa, who was appointed as the media spokesperson for the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, forwarded the email to me, which originated from a journalist from News 24, Mr. Jeff Wicks. And it pertains to 5 questions that started off with questions about blue lights, regulatory use of it, and to who it may be issued. Attached to this email was also a memorandum on an EMPD letterhead, which purports to be a to whom it may concern letter, and wherein a list of vehicles was listed, that these vehicles is our vehicles. I was, at that specific moment, I was in a meeting, but she sent me a WhatsApp as well, wherein she said to me, I actually first read the WhatsApp before I read the email. Because on the WhatsApp, she says, here's 2 video clips. This relates to the email. And I then read the email, and in the email, there was questions then wherein there was allegations that there was a video clip where vehicles is being used in a convoy using blue lights and sirens. And then also a clip where there's vehicles that is at a small little airport with an airplane in the background. I immediately, while I was even reading the email, I started to draft the answers to the questions itself. Like the first one is a very easy answer because it asks what is the regulations in a legal situation around the use of blue lights, where I actually just copied and pasted the National Road Traffic Act's regulation pertaining to the use of blue lights. And it stepped further deep in where I finished drafting all the answers to it. I then sent that draft answers, I sent it back to Lieutenant Colonel Kelebogile Tipa, and I also CC'd the Chief's Staff Officer, Colonel Ivan du Plessis. The reason I obviously CC him is that because I'm acting Chief, I must keep his office so that they know what everything is happening, what I'm doing. And I started then a process immediately thereafter of following up, because in this letter, the allegation of the vehicles, there's allegations that these vehicles belong to us. I immediately contacted a Colonel Madlanga Commission, who is heading our fleet section and pounds section in the logistical support section. And I requested her telephonically, can you immediately check for me if these vehicles belong to us? And I gave her the registration numbers. She checked and verified on our internal asset register, and she immediately informed me that none of these vehicles belong to us. It's not council vehicles at all. And I also then there was another letter which purports also to whom it may concern, which leads to a specific individual, CJ Smith, who also stated that this person worked for us and is doing work with us. And so I also contacted a Colonel Wanda van Rooyen, who is, at that stage, she was the Metro Police HR liaison person, and she had access to the employee database, which we call PILO. That's the name of the database. And she then confirmed, and to me as well telephonically, that we don't have a Metro Police officer with the name of CJ Smith employed by us. And I then go forward and I said to Lieutenant Colonel Kelebogile Tipa that she can release the media release, because we've confirmed it's not our vehicles, it's surely sideline issues, and she can release the media release. She telephonically contacted me a short while later to say, but the journalist has just contacted her back and stated that he has got NATIS. NATIS is a National Traffic Information System where vehicles are registered on, is that he's got NATIS proof that these vehicles are indeed registered in our name. And she then provided me, and I then actually started to immediately look at it and say, but this is very serious now. And I then formulated a letter and a formal instruction to the head of our internal affairs, Lieutenant Colonel Henny Erasmus, wherein I gave him instruction to say that he must immediately start to investigate this matter. It's very critical, and that he must also not delegate it because the allegations is against the brigadier, which is a senior rank, and I don't want him to delegate it to a junior constable or anything like that in the internal affairs to investigate.
Chief, if I may, before you get into the detail of the actual investigation that was carried out, listening to you, you would have dealt in large part with those paragraphs up to paragraph 18. I would like to take you back to paragraph 12. At paragraph 12, you reference a second letter that was received via WhatsApp from this Mr. Yako Hanekom. Who is Yako Hanekom?
Mr. Yako Hanekom, and I will later my testimony touch on Mr. Yako Hanekom again. He was part of a group of what in my mind today with hindsight is a rogue group of officers that was dealing together with our specialized services. But he was a security officer and he was at a later stage, he was killed in a attempted hit or a hijacking incident. So Mr. Yako Hanekom at that same day during this exercise, he gave me the information via WhatsApp where he sent this letter, which is exactly the same format that states to whom it may concern, and it's signed off by Julius Makwanasi as the deputy chief that this employee allegedly works for us.
Now, Mr. Yako Hanekom, at the time he shared this letter with you via WhatsApp, was he a member of the EMPD or not?
No, he's a private individual that worked for a security company.
You then say this is a confirmation letter of work collaboration with a civilian, Mr. C.J. Smith, and the EMPD truck hijacking unit. See that as your paragraph 12.
Correct.
You then proceed to state there is no such approved unit. Would you care to speak to that? Why do you say there is no such an approved unit?
In the structure of the Metro Police, under the division operations and specialized services, there are 5 subsections, which 3 of them is regional policing with the 3 regions, headed by a brigadier, which is a director title, but with a brigadier rank. There's a brigadier bylaws, and then there's a director brigadier specialized services. Under specialized services, there are units, and those units, which is formally on the structure, which exists and it's operating as units. There is, for instance, a speed law enforcement unit, there's an overload unit, there's a public order policing unit, there's a VIP protection unit, there is the canine and the equestrian unit that work under that. There's, however, no truck hijacking unit ever that have existed on that. There is no such thing on the structure.
Thank you. If you look at your statement, as I indicated, you had spoken to matters you cover up to paragraph 18. Do you confirm that you've covered everything in those paragraphs?
Correct. Maybe if I can just add that when Kilabugile Tipa informed me that it's on NATIS, we also confirmed that these vehicles have been obviously registered by our corporate fleet proxy, Mr. Chris Stein, because he's the one that complete the forms and make sure that it can get registered on the NATIS system.
When you say he's a vehicle proxy, could you expound? What does that mean?
In terms of NATIS, the owner of a vehicle is normally a natural person. But when it comes down to a company or a municipality, a representative is appointed in terms of the National Road Traffic Act, which is then the main representative is called the proxy. He acts as the person to do all the business on behalf of the company or the municipality. And you also have a proxy and representatives because it's the proxy office actually, but the proxy for the city of Ekurhuleni is Mr. Chris Stein.
And in that paragraph where you reference Mr. Chris Stein, you say Lieutenant Colonel Tipa informed me that she had received information suggesting that 3 of the vehicles on the list were in fact registered with the EMPD, right?
Correct, Commissioner.
It is the choice of wording I want us to discuss. You say she said she had received information suggesting that they were so registered. Is there confirmation? Are you aware of any before you left? Did you become aware of any confirmation as to whether or not they were in fact registered?
Yes, Commissioners. At the moment, that same day when she phoned me, we were speaking about 3 vehicles. However, after I gave Colonel Erasmus instruction to start investigating this matter, within the next week, we already discovered that it's actually 4 vehicles that have been formally registered on our name by using the papers of Mr. Chris Stein as the proxy. The papers and everything was obtained from him, and it was registered by Julius Makwanasi at the Whiteville offices.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Spies, did Mr. Stein know anything about his registration? Did you find out whether he knew that these vehicles were registered and what were the circumstances?
Yes, Commissioner. Mr. Stein there was eventually a criminal matter registered and there was an internal disciplinary inquiry by my internal affairs done. In both cases, Mr. Stein gave affidavits to the effect that he actually supplied the papers and everything because Brigadier Julius Makwanasi is a very senior person, approached him, informed him that there is a MOU with a company, Medicare 24 and CAT VIP Security, and that they have made a donation. So he took it on face value and he made a submission that he actually provided the papers. He gave instruction that the clerk that deals with it, Ms. Deborah Moremi, that she can give the papers and everything to Brigadier Makwanasi. So there is a formal confirmation that Chris Stein made to say that he gave instruction to Deborah, and Deborah then also, there's a statement from her that she gave the papers to Makwanasi and them, and they then did it on their behalf.